So, so today is about loss, but it's also about celebration. And I think it's good to remember, guys, that this is loss and it's real loss. So it's a hard reality to deal with, but like, we're going to continue living our lives down here without Rita. And that is a real loss. And so we must, if we're going to be healthy and do well together, we must mourn and grieve that. It's a real loss and we're going to grieve it. And there's no healing without grieving, and grieving is never done alone. You can't mourn and grieve by yourself. So that's where you really need each other. It's one of the reasons we do a gathering just like this, because we mourn and grieve together. And it's important that we're for one another and for our own healing, for our own moving forward. I don't know that the word closure, because we don't really want to close some stuff, but it's very important that we're here, so good job. And Rita loved this backyard, so much so that she planned her memorial service to be right here. She insisted on lots of things, and she got her way. When, right after she was diagnosed with the pancreatic cancer, she and I talked on the phone, and she was very direct with me, as she is, about what she wanted this to be like. She said no blubbering. She said it's to be a celebration. She did not want it to be formal. This is not a funeral. She even said to Donald, "You're coming to my party, aren't you?" So you kind of get her perspective on this. The other thing that we're celebrating today is that it's not hot. You know, Rita, she hated hot weather, and it would get hot and she would say, "This is ridiculous. Who needs this?" The heat, you know. And if you ever came to her house in the summer, you remember the fans? Oh yeah, fans everywhere. And you know, I got grafted into the family when I married Ramey, and so you know, it was interesting for me to kind of get into the Rydberg way of things, and one of those would be the summer visit. And it looked like she was mining bitcoins or something, because of like there was this room of servers, there were fans everywhere. I'm not a very big guy, so I would kind of pinball from fan to fan, cower in the corner, cold. Yeah. So guys, we're going to reminisce and reflect today. You can hear some music, a couple of Rita's favorite songs. I'm going to share a little bit. You're going to hear some words from folks. I'm going to give you an opportunity to stand up and say a few things if you'd like. We're going to look at her favorite scripture. We're going to laugh, and we're going to defy her orders, and we'll probably cry a little. And so that's kind of what we're going to accomplish together today. So how about we bow together and let's pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for your closeness. Thanks for your kindness to us. You are gracious and strong. You are acquainted with grief. You know sadness. Thanks that you identify with our sadness. We're grateful for Rita. You did a good thing when you made her and put her on this planet and in our lives. And so we are forever grateful for that. We are happy for her. Sad for us, and we thank you that we can trust you in this difficult time, and that it even affects how we're going to live our lives moving forward. So will you help us to mourn and grieve well, and to celebrate, and to even think about our own lives, and to live lives that honor Rita, but also honor you. So we invite you here, God, as our special guest, as we worship you, and as we thank you, and as we declare our need for your comfort. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. This is a song, In His Presence. It's a song that Rita sang many times, I think, or several times in church.
High school was your favorite song.
Yeah.
In the park.
And then Randy, you sang this song in church, I think. Yep. So you'll just hear it from back there. You can reflect on it for a few moments.
In the quiet of the sound, as I kneel before you now, I believe your promise to be faithful. I don't always understand what your perfect will demands, but I learn to trust you more in your presence, Lord. In your presence, there is comfort. In your presence, there is peace. When we seek to know your heart, we will find such blessed assurance in your holy presence. There can be such sweet reward when we wait upon the Lord. As we take the time He gives His perfect wisdom to be found in Him alone. All our deepest secrets known, we're surrounded by His grace when we seek His face. In your presence, there is comfort. In your presence, there is peace. When we seek the Father's heart, we will find such blessed assurance, an ever-open door to know our Savior more in the presence of the Lord.
emotional song, but a great truth that God is here, we're in His presence, that means we're in His comfort, that helps. I'm going to do some memories right now, you guys, and we're going to do a little bit of sharing. I'm going to get it started by reading a letter from Rita and Rudy's great friends, Jerry and Carolyn. And this is a kind of a representative letter that describes some things about Rita very well. A man of a certain age. Thanks. Jerry's writing, he says, we've known Rita for nearly 6 decades, became intimate friends with the Rybergs just as long. It all started when 4 teenagers got jobs working at retail stores and shopping malls in West Denver. Rudy and Rita were going steady, as were Carolyn and I. We knew instantly that we were all Christians, and before long we began going on drives in the mountains and enjoying picnics out in God's beautiful creation. Before long, wedding bells were chiming, and Rudy and I married the 2 best-looking girls in the entire state of Colorado. Amen. We began living parallel lives, so to speak. We got starter homes just a few blocks away. We bought 1960 Ford convertibles. We both started families. We both had 3 children. We vacationed together. It became a tradition throughout our lives. Went to McLaughlin's Lodge in Manitou Springs, Trappers Lake near Meeker, Glacier in Montana, the Big Island of Hawaii, Branson, Missouri, Jackson and Yellowstone, to name a few. But enough about the 4 of us. We're here to celebrate Rita's life. The following is a mere sample of the joyous things we remember most of our dear friend. First, there was the time when some genius at the Coca-Cola company decided to change the formula and call it New Coke. They were going to discontinue the original formula, and Rita went ballistic. She loved original Coke and wanted nothing to do with the new one. What happened next was classic Rita. She went to every store around and bought cases and cases of Coke. They were stacked everywhere. I think her reaction single-handedly got the CEO of Coke fired, as they quickly brought back the original. Second, let me just say 2 words and let you fill in the rest of the descriptive phrases. Christmas decorations. Third, so you know, there, put my trees up there. Third, no discussion regarding our memories of Rita would be complete without mentioning the marble game. For nearly 6 decades, this game brought laughter, excitement, and great fun. It was always men against the women. Shouts accusing each other of cheating or worse punctuated the conversation. Worse than cheating. Really.
Yeah, I know.
It had to be you. The tiny woman always sat to my left like the Incredible Hulk. She would transform right before your eyes into a competitive monster. One time she got so caught up in the game that she lost one of her marbles. No pun intended, he says. Guess where she found it? In her mouth. Because we were munching on chocolate-covered peanuts and she tossed a marble in her mouth without realizing it. Fourth, there was one time when we all had a vacation planned, but Carolyn hurt her back the day before we were going to leave. She could barely move, was in severe pain. Rudy and Rita came to Montana anyway, and Rita took over the cooking, cleaning, and just about everything else to help us out. That was the kind of love she exhibited throughout her entire life. She was always a blessing to us, and we sure appreciated it on that occasion. And finally, one other thing that we 4 enjoyed was looking and poking around in antique and collectible stores. That's a nice way to say it. Junk store, isn't it? Rudy was drawn to scale model cars, and every time he would buy one, Rita would say, "Now, Rudy," or "Oh, Rudy." It was hilarious, and then when we got to the checkout, she would show up with a few more Christmas ornaments. We'd like to close with this, that loving Rita was easy to do. Now looking forward to seeing her again in heaven is what we do the most. And he adds that heaven has gained another alto for the heavenly choir. Choir that will include electric guitars and stuff. So there you get a little idea of maybe some things that you might want to share, but I'd like to do one more thing and have Madeline come up, please. This is one of Rita's granddaughters, Madeline. I'm gonna step here and both, well, all three, Rami and Emily and Madeline, are good at impersonating Rita. And she's a good grandma, right? And so you got to experience some of the great, best parts of Rita as her grandchildren. And so we're gonna do three of them. What's the first one? Yeah. Okay.
So Emily and I always used to joke, like when Grandma came out and ready to like go shopping with or something, we'd always compliment her outfit, be like, "Oh, Grandma, you look so good and so good, and you're such a hot sauce woman." She'd go, "Yeah." So we knew she was grateful. But and then the second one, we would come down. Like most of the times, we would come down in the summer to visit or the winter. But when we come down this summer, it always came down to the heat, and like we loved it, and we'd go outside and sit on her swinging porch, and we'd be like, "Oh my gosh, it's so warm and so hot." She goes, "It's just pathetic." And then one of my most vivid memories of Grandma was when we would help her cook in the kitchen. And one time we were all cooking in the kitchen, we heard the garage door open. I go, "Oh, Grandma, Grandpa's home." She goes, "Lord help us." You're welcome.
Lord help us, Rudy.
Lord help us.
You incite prayer. Okay. Anybody got a story you'd like to tell? Some thoughts that you have? You don't have to do a long treatise. We'd like it if you didn't. But anybody want to share a memory or a thought about Rita?
Do I have to stand up?
Just project. So we
Oh,
can hear
that's not difficult. So the first time I met this beautiful family was when Jim graduated from college. And I walked in, and he had told me about brothers, sisters, things. But when you walk in and see them en masse, you kind of go,
Oh, yeah.
okay, what do I do? And so anyway, food was served, and it was like, and everyone kind of started walking toward the tables and going to pick up something to eat. And I was a little worried about what was going to happen next, what I should do next. And Rita came over and sat next to me on the patio step, and she said, "Terry, let me tell you something about this family." And I says, "Okay," and she said, "If you don't get up and get something to eat, there is not going to be anything left to eat."
Good advice.
Yeah.
Who else?
I just really wanted to direct this to them.
Okay.
And I'm sure you're fine.
Yeah. Yeah, we're all gonna cry.
You know, we're both gonna cry. But I just want to thank you, Rudy, from the bottom of my heart. She was so special to me, and you showed her such concern and care. And you've just been so courageous throughout this whole thing. I just don't know how anybody could have loved her more than you loved her. And I want this is a cute little thing. One day we were talking, Rita and I don't know what we were talking about. He says, "Oh yes," she said, "I don't know if she was still in bed or maybe I was in there." She said, "Oh yes, you know, Rudy brings me my Cheerios in bed every morning." I said, "What? I've never heard of such a thing." Yes, he does. But anyway, Rudy, thank you so much. Thank you so much for all you did for her. You couldn't have loved her more.
It was a joy. And by the way, that she ate the cereal in a 4-cup measuring cup with a handle.
So cute.
I have one quick thing. When you talk about
Rudy, is there such a thing as a quick thing?
when Terry was talking about how Rita went by her side and kind of
Yeah.
whatever. And unfortunately at church, one time there was a dinner kind of a thing, informal. There was a young couple from South America, and they were the only couple at that table. Nobody sat with them. And they had deep accent, etc. And Rita said, "Yeah, let's go." He got up and went over there and sat with them because she had concern because they were being ignored in church. Isn't that awful? But I thought that was really a demonstration of who she was. You know,
So Patty's comment, in essence, was thanking Rudy for loving Rita so well, and for bringing her Cheerios in bed. So I'm not sure everybody got that.
Montana too.
Anybody else? A memory, something about her character, something you appreciated?
I'm Derry Carol Bixman.
So Derry, you could stand up right next to you. No, seriously, because these guys can't hear you.
Just so you'll project a little
Just,
more.
just turn your back to me.
You know, one of the best years of my life were when I met Rainey, and we grew up together in high school, and so basically I lived at the Red Brick House pretty much 24/7 all through high school. I was never greeted, "Hello, Derry, how are you?" It was always like, "Derry, Derry," up until the day she passed, when we were putting cold compresses on her head, and I put one on her head, and I said, "How is that, Rita?" She's like, "Derry." Dripping.
always orders.
Right? So, you know, two times that I think about her still to this day is, of course, when it's above 88 degrees outside, and also when I have something to be organized. I'm like, okay, I have to summon my inner Rita to organize something, because she was always so great. But Rainey and I share the gift of adoption, and I think that is the bond that we have. And so, again, thank you for not only loving Rita so much, but for loving your children so much, and giving me my best friend, my sister, to me, and so, and all of you. So,
Any more? Good. Emily? This is granddaughter Emily.
Hi. One time, but it's not a sad story, that's why I don't know why I'm crying, but it's actually a really funny story. It was in high school, and I had to get a prom dress, and so Grandma went with me to go find a prom dress, and she actually found it. We were like in this old antique store looking, and they were beautiful. They were like these really gorgeous vintage gowns, and she found mine, and then so we were so excited. We bought it, we left, and then we started driving home, and I had just started to drive. I was just learning how to drive, and so I don't know why she actually trusted me to take her around town, but we were so excited about the dress, and I pull out of the parking lot, and I start going down a one-way the wrong way. So she and I both start screaming. And then so I'm like, and there's cars coming, and she's like, "Pull over!" So I zoom into a parking lot, and then we both start dying, and she says, "Don't worry, I won't tell your parents." So that is a good memory.
That's awesome.
I'm a pastor, you know, and pastors, we try to help people. And one time I walked into the kitchen, and Rudy and Rita were having a discussion,
No.
a rather heated discussion. This rarely happened,
That was the time.
but I asked them if they needed counseling. I wouldn't have done much good, Rudy. You did a good job being married. Rita did a really good job being married. Then the memory I have is that one Christmas I got a cereal bowl for Christmas from Rita. And that is a thoughtful gift because in her mind, a man needs a good cereal bowl. And I think she looked around at the cereal bowls we had and was like, my daughter, I'll just get him a good cereal bowl. I'll share one more because we talked the other night, and you know, Rita was organized, right? She always had a plan. She even got to where she organized Rudy's rooms, including the garage, the shop. But the attic is very organized, and so apparently there was a technician in the house. He had to get up in the attic for something, and it was an insurance adjuster, and so was it you that walked up? Yeah, and he was sitting cross-legged in the attic, just in awe, looking around at everything, and said, "I have never seen an attic so organized in my life." So, I'm going to read 2 sections now to you, and so just kick back and relax because there's some words, especially Rudy's, and it's hard, you know, you're going to sum up some thoughts that you have about your mom first, and then from Rudy for your wife, and so this is from Raimi, and so I'll read it verbatim. She starts with a reasonable question. How do you sum up all the love and gratitude you have in your heart for a person who had one of the single most impactful relationships in your life? I am who I am today because of my mom. Some of my favorite memories I shared with Mom were setting up for Christmas when we were kids, and she put on Christmas music and we went to town decorating. Pause. It happens in my house every year. Often too early, but in honor of your mother, I understand. She had so much energy and her enthusiasm was contagious, and I think of her every Christmas when I decorate my home. Mom taught me that managing my home would be one of the most important jobs I would ever do. I learned a lot by observation, but she was intentional to teach me to cook and sew. I never excelled to her level. I noticed how much Mom loved taking care of her home. She was so grateful for God's provision and how hard Dad worked. Mom loved being in her kitchen. She could keep her kitchen moving all day long. I always think of her when I have a day at home and need to get a lot done. For instance, laundry. She told me, I always keep the machines going and you'll get it done, but you have to stay on it. I'm so grateful God allowed me to be at home with my kids when they were young. Mom kept encouraging me along the way that I would never regret the decision to focus on Emily and Madeline. Spending extended summer vacations in Denver were simply the best. Mom made our visits super special. I love shopping with Mom. She could go the distance with me. That is going the distance, by the way. She could go the distance with me and even kept up with my girls when they became shoppers. She taught me how to shop the sales and look for quality. I learned how to worship God from Mom. She was in the choir at church, sang solos, led a women's singing group, and like Mom, I communicate my love to the Lord when I sing. I was leading worship at our church the weekend after I learned that she had pancreatic cancer. Although I was fighting tears, worship brought such peace and comfort. Knowing Mom was soon going to be in heaven, I was also offering up praise on Mom's behalf. I love you, Mom. Thank you for serving me and our entire family the way you did. I'll keep following your example. You're doing a great job, Raimi, and it makes me grateful for Rita. Rudy sat down a couple of weeks after Rita went to heaven and wrote some thoughts. I'm going to read those to you now. Today, quite emotionally, is Rudy and Rita's wedding anniversary. So, appropriately and yet sad.